Welcome back to Chemistry 1. This is Unit 4, Lesson 5 on covalent bonding, video number 4. So in the third video, our last video, we looked at our first example of how to write Lewis diagrams. So we're going to look at our second example, and this is NH3. So we're going to start this one the same way. We're going to do NaS, needed, available, shared. And if we look, we have N and 3 H's. So I'm going to write down the number of each atom for each element. So we have 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogens. Then for needed, we use our octet and duet rules. So everything needs 8 electrons except for hydrogen and helium, they need 2. So nitrogen needs 8 and hydrogen needs 2. So when we multiply the number of atoms of each element by the number that they need, we get 8 and 6, and then we add them together to get 14. For the number available, we do the same thing, N and H, 1 and 3. But now, instead of using the octet and duet rules, we use how many electrons are in the valence shell for each one of these. So nitrogen is in group 15, so it has 5 available. And hydrogen is group 1, it has 3 available. So we multiply these out and add them together, and we get 8. So S is N minus A, so 14 minus 8, which gives us 6 electrons. We divide that by 2 to give us 3 bonds. So now we get to draw our diagram. Now we have all the information that we need. So we have 1 N and 3 H's. The one that goes in the middle is never hydrogen, so nitrogen has to go in the middle. And then we put our 3 H's around it. So you could put them here, here, and here, 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 and here, 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 and here. It doesn't matter as long as they are separated out and they're surrounding N. We have 3 bonds, so we put them one at a time until they have to pair up again. We don't have any to have to pair up. And then we have to check to see if we have any electrons left over. So up here for our check, we did 4 bonds would be 8 electrons. So here we have 3 bonds, which are 6 electrons. Well, we had 8 available. So we have 2 left over. So an easy way to figure out how many we have left over, because we have to keep track and make sure that we have all of the electrons in here, is A minus S is equal to the leftover electrons. We had 8 available, we used 6, there's 2 left over. So what we do with these is we place leftover electrons as pairs on any atom that does not have the needed amount. So we have 2 electrons to put as a pair on something up here. So if we look at needed, each hydrogen needed 2. Well, this hydrogen has the 2 here. This hydrogen has the 2 from the bond, and this hydrogen has 2. Nitrogen needs 8. Well, it has 2, 4, 6. So it's missing 2. So we're going to put 2 dots on nitrogen. And now we're done. We have 8 electrons total. That's how many that are available. Let's look at number 3. Here we're going to do NaS. and S again. So N, we have one S and we have four O's. Sulfur and oxygen both follow the octet rule. So sulfur needs 8, oxygen needs 8. So 1 times 8 is 8, 4 times 8 is 32. We add the two together and we have 40 electrons needed. S has 6 electrons available because it's in group 16. O is also in group 16. So we have 30 electrons. But if you notice right here, we have a -2. That means that we have 2 extra electrons. So we have to add 2 electrons to available to give us 32. So when we do our S, we get 40 minus 32, which is 8 electrons. Divide that by 2, gives us 4 bonds. So with this one, we have to decide what goes in the middle. Well, usually it's the one that's by itself. There's only one of, so S goes in the middle, and our 4 O's go around it. We have 4 bonds, so we're going to put 1 bond from each O to the S. And now we're going to do our check. We had 32 electrons minus the 8 that we used gives us 24 electrons left over. So we have to put 24 dots as 12 pairs of electrons in this diagram because we can't have any electrons left over. We used 8 of them with the bonds. Sulfur needs 8, so it has 2, 4, 6, 8. It's happy. But each oxygen only has 2 from the bond, so each oxygen needs 6 more. Six times 4 is 24. So the only other thing we need to do is put our little -2 sign on here because it is a -2 charge overall. So that one is now done. Our last video will go over the final 2 examples.